WCFL.
Never wanted to go, but here I am, Mama. Down to Stony End with Barbara Streisand and Steve York, and we're on WCFL at 2:02.
Big Ten WCFL. Chicago weather.
Well, it's terrible outside. That's what it is. Traveler's warnings in effect throughout the evening. Freezing drizzle tonight, followed by snow flurries. Low tonight 15, high tomorrow 25. Low Thursday night around 0. High on Friday 5 to 15. Winds out of the west at 19. And at, let me see, in Millbourne it's 32. It's 32 in Manhattan. And it's 34 downtown at Marina City.
Steve York. Big Ten WCFL. Steve York.
There's a fella calling from Saginaw, Michigan, and a television station there says if he doesn't hear this song, they will raid Chicago in the morning. This is Hitbound and Mama's Pearl. Jackson 5, not the Osmond Brothers. My favorite girls in Waldorf, Maryland, thank you for your call. And Buddy Bolin, drive your truck.
WCFL. Big Ten Music.
Support Meals for Millions, a non-profit foundation. Send your tax-free contributions to Meals to Millions, Box 1666, Santa Monica, California. It's 2:05 at Big Ten with Steve York. This is George Harrison from the album All Things Must Pass.
Big Ten WCFL. Double hit.
Traveling overseas this year, foreign food products can spread destructive foreign insects and diseases back to the States. So leave these items behind unless you have advance clearance from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It's 2:10 at Big Ten with Steve York and the Edison Lighthouse and Petula.
I don't have you to myself. It's up to you, Petula. Do the things you
Big Ten WCFL.
Hey, it's freezing in Chicago 32 at 2:13 on Big Ten with Steve York. Numero uno, Dave Edmonds. I hear you knocking.
You went away and left me alone.
No optimism. An air of gloom still over the school board. Chicago Teachers Union talks this morning. School board negotiator Mrs. Louise Mellis commenting after the CTU turned down the newest school board offer. The strike's going into its third day. This is Walt Hamilton.
5 persons arrested for conspiring to commit kidnapping and bombings.
Norman Cecil of Local 73 of the Service Employees Union says this is not a wage strike, but an effort backed by parents to improve education to retarded children in Chicago.
On the Big Ten weather scope, travelers warning freezing drizzle tonight, followed by snow flurries. The low about 15, high during the day 25. Low this coming night around 0. Winds west at 17. Temperatures northwest 30, southwest 30. Downtown at Marina City 32.
Steve York. WCFL. Big Ten Music.
2:21 at Big Ten, WCFL in Chicago. With Steve York, it's Jerry Reed. Oh, yes! 2:24 at Big Ten, WCFL with Steve York, and that's Jerry Reed. Something new called Amos Moses, and brought up a son and named him after a man of the cloth, and we're going to dedicate that to Robert Hall, I guess. I don't know. At least one member of your family may have a serious medical problem or allergy. In case of an emergency, wear a Medic Alert bracelet or necklace. For further info, call Medic Alert Foundation, write them rather, at Turklock, California. Their zip code is 95380.
Big Ten WCFL. Solid gold.
Got a call from Traverse, Michigan a couple of nights ago. They wanted to hear this on Wednesday. It's done by Dylan. It's 2:24 at Big Ten. This is positively 4th Street.
You got a lot of nerve.
WCFL.
2:28 at Big Ten with Steve York, digging Steve Stills. And if you can't be with the one you love, got to love the one you're with.
If you're down,
WCFL. Chicago.
2:31 at Big Ten in Chicago. Good morning. This is Steve York. Carlos Santana His group at Big Ten WCFL at 2:34, and that's a hit line request from Gary. WCFL weather, traveler's warnings in effect, so please be careful driving or walking for that matter. Freezing drizzle tonight, followed by snow flurries. Low tonight 15. Yeah, a high tomorrow 25. Low Thursday night around 0. High on Friday 5 to 15. Winds out of the west at 17. It's 32 in the city, 30 in the suburbs. A sound service from WCFL. Learn to operate and maintain your boat safely. Who's going boating, right? The Coast Guard Auxiliary offers 8-week basic seamanship classes at 7:30 p.m. in the Red Cross building. That's at Ohio and Wabash. Every Thursday night, the first session starting January 21st. WCFL, at your service.
WCFL, hit the
2:35 at Big Ten with the staple singers.
WCFL, Big Ten music.
Steve York at Big Ten, WCFL at 2:38. Here's a record's gonna get inside your head. Gordon Lightfoot, and If You Could Read My Mind.
If you could read my mind, love.
Big Ten WCFL, solid gold.
Yes, Thursday morning, 32 outside at 2:42 at Big Ten with Steve York. You know, the world lost something very special when we lost Jimi Hendrix. 1967, bring it home with Purple Haze.
He looked 10 years older. This is Mike Rollins, the Board of Education. John Desmond, president of the Chicago Teachers Union, is a tired man as negotiations continue in quest for settlement of the teachers' strike. Desmond presented a new package to the board. The board, in the early morning hours, still studying that package. Desmond says he's not hopeful at all that the board will react favorably. Teachers will remain out on strike.
Walking the picket lines. This is Jim Frank, and the topic of discussion amongst teachers, walking the line, of course, is money, and that occasional reference to how miserable the weather is. Inside the Board of Education, cameras, tape recorders, and reporters all waiting for any word of how things are going in negotiations between the teachers' union and the board. The negotiators, they look like death warmed over, having spent many hours behind closed doors. And oh, if those walls could only talk.
A freedom flight. Jetliners landed in Santiago, Chile this morning aboard 70 Brazilian political prisoners going into exile, given permission to leave Brazil on the condition that guerrillas in that nation release kidnapped Swiss ambassador Giovanni Bucher. The terrorists say they will release the diplomat after confirmation those political prisoners are safe in Chile.
No such plan. This is Bob Christopher. 4 defendants have denied ever planning to kidnap presidential aide Henry Kissinger and blow up heating ducts in Washington government buildings. One denial was made in the name of the alleged ringleader, the Reverend Philip Berrigan in Danbury, Connecticut. The other was made in the names of 2 priests and a former priest in Baltimore. All were indicted. They claim the United States is using the alleged Kissinger plot to harass and to make fun of people who oppose the war.
Leathernecks heading for the U.S. This is John Gannis. There's a 270-man American Marine Air Control Squadron packing for home. The outfit is putting it together to become the first Marine unit to leave Vietnam in Phase 6 of the withdrawal program. The way top military men tell it in Saigon, the bigger part of the 25,000 Marines now in Vietnam will be pulled out by the middle of coming spring. When Phase 6 is completed, there should be fewer than 284,000 GIs in Vietnam by May 1st.
Another big one, this one on the south side. A 2-alarm fire sounded this morning for the fire at 18th in Michigan. No injuries reported so far. The building houses the Imperial Automotive Suppliers. 150 men battled another 3-alarm fire that's just been brought under control within the last 5 minutes at a building at 4142 West Madison. Again there, no injuries.
McGuire builds power at Marquette. This is Red Mutlow. Al McGuire came out of New York and began building a basketball power in the Midwest at Marquette. He won the NIT last year. It's no secret that McGuire wants the NCAA title. As an independent, he'll have to have an excellent record to qualify from this area. The way he's going, he'll probably do it. McGuire at first concentrated on the East, New York specifically for his talent. Now he's grabbing top Illinois ball players. His Eastern ways make him kind of strange to the Midwest, but his basketball isn't strange at all. It's the winning kind, the kind that could bring Marquette to a national title.
This is Larry O'Brien. You've heard the saying, it's not whether you win or lose, but how you play. With the March of Dimes, the name of the game is the best diagnosis for children with birth defects. Be a winner and give generously. WCFL cares.
On the Big Ten weather scope, a traveler's warning. Freezing drizzle this morning, followed by snow flurries. The low about 15, high today 25. The low this coming night around 0, and the high on Friday 5 to 15 degrees. Winds west at 17, temperatures northwest 30, southwest 30, downtown at Marina City 32.
Steve York. WCFL. Big Ten music.
For a quick and correct answer to your federal income tax questions, call the new IRS number 641-1040. It's 252 at Big Ten with Steve York and the Carpenters.
We've only just begun.
WCFL, solid gold.
255 at Big Ten in Chicago with Steve York. And from 1968, Amboy Dukes. A journey to the center of your mind.